Hi everyone, it's Becky here. So welcome to another new video on my YouTube channel. So after last Wednesday's outing around Royal Oak, that I showed you a real-time video of my whole sketching process of my lunch and this apartment building. Before heading home, I just went to the inner neighborhood of the Royal Oak area and I just captured a little glow of cherry blossoms and the mountains closer up. Yeah, just a really ordinary streetscape of the greater Vancouver area, but it's a really heartwarming springtime scenery. And then, yeah, I sketched my kitty Doo-Doo happily in his dreamland. A fresh baked bread from one of our family friends and the evening sky outside my reading room window. And I continued to make more sketches of Doo-Doo in his slumber poses. Beautiful spring skies outside my window and also outside the A&W restaurant somewhere in Vancouver. Another bright sunny day in New Westminster. Around the quayside, sketching the world's tallest tin soldier, a lava cake with iced coffee, and some fellow customers sitting outside the cafe. And today, I'm gonna finish filling up this page spread. As you can see, I've captured my kitty Doo-Doo, stretching out, sleeping on the couch, a cup of coffee, and a mini pizza from Tim Hortons. And just the sky closing up before the rainy day started. And so I think I'm gonna sketch the peach drink on the very right side of the page spread. Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna sketch this bottle of peach drink from the Chinese supermarket. And this peach flavored drink always brings me back my childhood memories because as a kid, I really enjoy drinking peach flavored drinks. And so every time I take a sip of this peach drink, it instantly brings me back to decades ago when I was very little. Yeah, and I found this photo of me when I was about 3 years old, and that peach drink is in front of the wine bottle. Yeah, so just to give you a bit of context and sensations of why I'm sketching the peach drink. And my current sketchbook is almost filled up. I have another I think I have another 7 to 8 pages in this Etchr A4 size landscape format sketchbook to fill up. I think I'm gonna finish it next weekend. So I'm gonna quickly envision the size and placement of this peach drink bottle on the white blank spot. Always starting with a cap of a bottle and the layers of the metallic folds. Oh, this one has so many looping layers. Okay, so that's it, the cap area and the shoulders in symmetry. The left side of the body and the right side is slightly wonky, but I just embrace the imperfection and adds more life. So the very bottom line of a bottle is a curve, not a flat line. So after the basic definitions of this bottle, I'm ready to add the inner details on the surface. I started with that organic shape of a sticker and the logo and the characters. Starting to add these graphics, accentuate a little bit on the bottom, and this large leaf shape, also kind of like a fan shape as well. And these are actually the Japanese characters. Saying it's peach tea, and here on the bottom is actually the Chinese characters saying white peach. And I'm gonna go ahead and just doodle out the logo of this peach drink and these really cute little shapes, a cloud shape and an oval with characters in it, and these lovely pile of peach in the back on a little platform. And if we look very carefully, these are actually not polka dots, but actually little peaches floating in the very back of everything, which is really adorable. Yeah, and this is really beautiful package design, right? And I just drew a little platform for the bottle and the time to paint watercolors. So I'm going to start using my large tip Holbein Water Brush to wet the entire area of the bottle. So it's just easier for the first layer of light wash to spread out really smoothly on the wetted surface. So this is diluted permanent red. If you dilute any red or magenta kind of color with a lot of water, you get this lovely pink. And it really echoes with the color of cherry blossoms. And same for the peaches. For the peaches, I actually mix a little bit of orange into the permanent red. And now I just grabbed a little bit leftover bluish gray, diluted with a lot of water, to paint lightly of these white areas, and also the metallic cap. Okay, so those areas are not paper white. Now, second layer. Yeah, so this is a mix of permanent red from Mungyo and just red from the Etchr brand, containing less water compared to the first layer. So I get these higher saturated pinks for both the background behind the peach polka dots and these juicy peaches. So as you can see, I'm doing wet into wet, and I love this soft fuzzy effect of these two color values blending together very softly without any hard brush marks. And I'm continuing to add this more intense red pink in this second layer for the background behind the peach polka dots. As you may have noticed, the window is on the right hand side. So now, as you can see, I'm shading the left side with a mix of cobalt blue, just a tiny bit, and royal purple, wet into wet with a red magenta color on the left side of the bottle. The window is on the right. And same for these peaches. Yeah, a little bit of purplish tone to suggest the slightly shaded area. And a beautiful transition is happening right now of various color values from red, pink to purples and even violets a little bit. And I'm going to do the same thing for the shoulder and the chest area of the bottle. Yeah, so all bottles in my eyes, they look like very abstract human mannequins, and they have a head, shoulder, chest, and body area. And yeah, same idea on the left side of the shoulder area, the left shoulder. I'm putting a bit more blue and purple to shade it. So this entire bottle, it looks more three-dimensional. And this is more than just physical likeness. As we are playing with these values and tones, we're also adding touches of personal sensations to everything that we paint. And watercolors is a really magic medium to help us to express our sensations very effectively. Now I'm just using my medium tip Holbein Water Brush and just used a few hair on the tip of the brush to get those Japanese characters done with real red paint from Etchr. Cleaned my brush and then grabbing some cerulean blue, mix it with cobalt blue to color in these characters. And some of these as well on the bottom part of the bottle. Grabbing some leftover bluish gray to color in the metallic cap, leaving some parts white for the metallic highlights, and more leftover blue for the bracket areas around the speech bubble thing. Now it's time to paint the shadow of the bottle. And I just wetted the shadow area with clear water and punching on this leftover pink peachy color, just making the shadow look more sensational. And adding some retouches of yellow-orange for the surface of the peaches here so they shine even more, and some more concentrated red-pink. While waiting for that shadow's first layer to dry. Now, wet into moist. Second layer for the shadow is a mix of cobalt blue and royal purple. Intensify the edge. And final polish, especially for the looping lines, the little bulging areas around the neck area, and that's it. Okay, so the next thing that I'm gonna put in my sketchbook is this package of green onion soda crackers, also from the Chinese supermarket earlier this week. Yeah, so for a few moments, I'm going to envision the size and placement of this rectangular prism shape of the cracker package, starting with the bending side on the left, bending down a little bit, and then the length of the rectangular prism. Yeah, that's a division line vaguely suggested of the two sides and the other end of the package. Yeah, so it's supposed to be a slightly wonky shape like this. Just trust what you see, and then this gentle division line of the top and the front sides. And now it's time to work on the inside details on the surface of the package, starting with a couple of wrinkles here on the left wing, and these little stripes on that little side, and these Chinese and also Japanese characters meaning natural taste or taste of nature. Yeah, same for here. Yeah, exactly the same characters as on the sides. And then the little banner. The little label saying it's vegetable green onion flavor. And a bundle of green onions and these floating crackers on the side. The onion pieces and the holes on these cracker pieces. Yeah, these are very lively floating crackers. And then this is like a farm field, a small 1-point perspective of the patches. And then the logo. Yeah, so it's very much exactly the same details as the front side, but just in smaller sizes. Yeah, nature's flavor. Sorry, I think it's nature's luck at the same time. Yeah. Okay, and then the bundle of green onions, the farm field, and last little lines to accentuate, and that's very much it. And the time to paint watercolors. For the very first layer, I am going to start with a really diluted yellow ochre. Yeah, so overall, the entire package has a nice mellow yellow glow. So I just wetted the whole area with clear water and then punching on diluted yellow ochre to establish a sense of unity. Every single part on this package shares the same basic color, so it's kind of like an underpainting. Okay, now I'm about to do wet into wet, a very gentle little bit of spring green. So this is mostly lime green with a tiny bit of viridian green mixed in, wet into wet. So it's blooming very softly with the diluted yellow ochre in the previous layer. Yeah, beautiful little simple gradient. The vibes of spring is coming alive on this package. Now, third layer, I'm going to add an even more intense layer of green. So this is mostly just pure viridian green, again wet into wet. So it's merging so softly with the previous layer of moist paint. As you can see, the previous layer is just moist, but not too wet. If it's too wet, this intense green is going to fade out by the flooding watery paint on the bottom. So yeah, the moisture of the paper is just right. And adding this intense green containing less water, yeah, around the corners. Really enjoying the process, creating this lovely gradient of spring greens. Yeah, adding a quick brush mark of darker green on that little banner. Now it's time to paint the crackers. So this is very much yellow ochre mixed with orange. And using choppy brush marks to get the relieved texture on the surface of the cracker. It's uneven. So as I'm painting this package full of lovely greens and yellows and oranges, even though it's a cold, rainy day, I can imagine myself walking in the farm fields, enjoying all the spring colors on the trees and grass and the bushes. So for me, it's more than just drawing and painting and illustrating this cracker package. It is about creating a sensational experience that may not be directly related to what I'm exactly doing. So it might be kind of spiritual, relating to my past and present experiences. Everything is interconnected. And just adding last little bit of intense greens, those little stripes on both ends of the package. And then it's time to paint the shadow. I'm starting off with this reflective green, a super diluted version, wet onto wet, leftover bluish gray. So the last step, painting the shadow, is so important to lift the package off the page so it's ready to be picked up. Wet into wet, a slightly more intense bluish gray. And the shadow is the darkest, touching the very edge of that object. Yeah, just be really bold, punching this most intense bluish gray on. Ready to grab it. Here we go. And here is the look of my finished peach drink sketch and the package of crackers. So here on this last little bit of blank space, I'm going to sketch the view outside my window. And Dudu is very tired. Yeah, so sometimes we can find him sleeping in a very odd corner in the house. Yeah, so back to the kitchen table. I'm zooming in to see this lovely selection of my neighbors' houses and all the spring foliage surrounding it. I'm gonna capture this view. So first of all, I'm gonna draw a rectangular frame to fit everything in nice and neat. And then I'm gonna improvise, just improvise without any pencil work. And starting with these triangular roof shapes for the two houses. I think they're conjoined. And then the gap area with the windows in between and that little balcony. Shade this part a little bit. It's a little hard to see because the houses are kind of far away. And finishing the rooftops. Now I'm ready to overlap this maple tree on the left side of this little scenery. Starting with these major branches, joining them into one trunk coming down and another one more branch. Yeah, so that's the essence of this tree. Now I'm ready to use the squiggly lines to define the fresh new leaves stretching out from all the branches. Yeah, in these small clusters. Yeah, and all the way down, covering most part of the trunk. Okay, now ready to add the layers of bushes in front of the houses and this tall shrub guarding the houses. And then stretching out a little bit more, there is one more tree showing up on the right hand side and the leafy texture done with the same pattern of squiggly lines. Yeah, and here is a fence post and another layer of shrubs in front of the houses. Yeah, nice foliage forms that I see. And now it's time to install the windows. First one on the upper floor and the lower floor. Yeah, and these two are like twins with the same sets of windows aligning on the same level horizontally. Some texture for the shrubs in front of the houses. And drawing the quick and loose contour outline of the forest behind. Yeah, keeping the lines pretty gentle so they don't come forward to compete with the main objects. Division lines for the lawns. That's it. Here's the look of my finished line work. Now it's time to paint watercolors. Again, spontaneously in about 10 to 15 minutes to get it done. Starting with a light wash of diluted yellow ochre. The sky is opening up a little bit, so it shows a bit of late afternoon sunshine in between the thick clouds. And then some light yellow-green and lime-green mix for these foliage. Yeah, so when we're painting trees, always start with a really warm and light tone of green, not too dark yet. And for the maple tree, it's really kind of a golden green. So it's a mix of yellow ochre and lime green for the maple tree leaves. Wet into moist. A diluted leftover blue, which is a mix of cobalt blue, royal purple, and a tiny bit of green. Intensify the shaded area on the cloud with a more intense gray. And same for the street and the little walkway in between the lawns. Yeah, so the street, I'm using the same color for the shade of the clouds, so they kind of echo with each other on the top and bottom of this picture. Now, wet into moist, some orange yellow, which is simply orange mixed with yellow ochre containing a little less water this time, and using these dotting brush marks to suggest the little thin, small leaves just stretching out from the branches of the maple tree. Now it's time to shade these shrubs a little bit with just pure Viridian green here and there, just the bottom 2/3. The top 1/3 is exposed to the daylight, so it's a little bit brighter. Using the same Viridian green with a tiny bit of burnt sienna mix in, so it's a slightly shaded green to paint the forest behind, simply with just one layer. Let it merge with the moist sky a little bit, kind of fade out. And leftover bluish gray to shade the left side of the houses. So I slowed down the painting process of this time lapse to just 2 times faster than my actual painting speed. So now I'm punching on this burnt sienna with a little bit of cobalt blue mixed in. Now I want to illuminate the faces of these houses with diluted lemon yellow because the sun is pushing out from the clouds. I want to bring more warm atmosphere to the scenery, especially the middle part. The central focus of the sketch is the faces of these 2 houses. So later in the afternoon and in the evenings, we can see the sunshine adding on a much more warmer yellow on the exteriors of white and gray surfaces. And for these greeneries, I'm just shading the bottom half using a slightly bit more intense green. The contrast is a little low on an overcast day like this. And this shrub is actually a pink purple one. Now painting the trunk and the branch areas of the maple tree with burnt sienna, skipping a little bit in between the golden green leaves. And mixing burnt sienna with a lot of cobalt blue. The trunk is actually pretty intense dark sepia. And using just a few hair on the tip of my medium tip water brush to paint the branches. Yeah, keep it really loose this way. There's no clear boundaries between the golden green leaves and the branches and the trunk of the maple tree. Yeah, I love that this is glowing and some more contrast with sepia containing less water. And it's time to move on to shade the other foliage pieces a bit more. Shadow under the roofs using leftover blue purplish gray. And the forest, I want to make it look more intense. So it's the mix of Viridian green and burnt sienna and a tiny bit of cobalt blue. And same for the shrubs here in the front. Here is a look of my finished ink and watercolor 25-minute sketch and the entire sketchbook spread from left to the middle and to the right. Little snippets of my life in early spring 2024. So thank you so much for watching this video, everyone. If you like it, please click like and leave me a comment below. Subscribe to my channel for weekly updates. I update my channel with about 2 videos every week. And I will see you again very soon next time. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.